What's up, everybody? I am Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I honestly, no joke, I feel like shit. I feel like absolute shit. I am depressed right now, and I know some people might say, "Oh, come on, get over it. It's just a TV show. It's no big deal. It's just characters. It's yada yada." And I know, deep down, I know. But when you've been watching a show for 7 years, yes, I've been watching it from the beginning, and when you feel for these characters, when you grow with them, when you understand them, when you relate to them, when you just love these characters, love the show, love everything about it. Honestly, The Walking Dead is my favorite show, especially right now on TV, and it's because I feel for it. It's because it knows how to play with my emotions. It knows exactly what to do to get me to that point, to where I do care this much. And obviously I'm talking about The Walking Dead, Season 7, the premiere, Episode 1, entitled "The Day Will Come When You Won't Be." So, I know everybody was up in arms, right? In the Season 6 finale, where we saw the group, we saw Negan, we saw that scene, and they teased the hell out of us, but they didn't show it. They didn't show who Negan killed with that bat, Lucille, and they kept us waiting for 6 months or however long it was, maybe longer. And believe me, I was one of those people who was a little upset. At the time, I was like, they're not going to show us? I did flip out, but I wasn't angry. I got it. I wasn't like about to not watch the show ever again, like I heard some people say, which is hilarious because you know they were back watching tonight's episode. But this episode starts where we left off, where we see, well, basically, it starts with almost the aftermath, and I thought they weren't going to show it. I thought we would figure out who died. I thought we would maybe process of elimination figure out who died. Rick is definitely almost in shock, but I did like that he threatened Negan in a way where he said, "I'm going to kill you." And the look in his eyes, you believed it. In fact, I think Negan believed it. I think Negan saw the look in Rick's eyes and believed him. And maybe just a small part of him was worried about, this guy means business. This guy says what he means, and he meant what he just said. And Negan grabs him, takes him to the RV. They drive off. You don't know what he's going to do, what he's planning. He has an axe that he left out there on the table, almost taunting Rick, just really messing with him. We get this whole spiel and I was still in a mode of like, they're dragging this out. They're dragging out who he killed on purpose, and I was almost hating the show for this, because it's like, God damn it, okay, I was okay with you guys dragging it out from the finale because it makes sense. It's perfect. But I wanted to know, because I wanted to get it over with. I did. I wanted to know so I could move on and get past it and not have this feeling of anxiety anymore. But they dragged it out some more. He took the axe, threw it out of the RV, told Rick to go get it, threw Rick out, and Rick was in the middle of a bunch of walkers, which there was so many walkers. You're going to have some people complain of like, how the hell did Rick survive this? How did he not get bit? How? Honestly, it's because Rick is the main character. I will admit, I never once thought that something was going to happen to Rick out there. But there were so many walkers. It was foggy. There was so much going on. I was wondering how the hell was he going to get out. But also, there was the other half of me that just wanted to know who the hell died. Because you get Rick almost thinking about certain characters of who it could have been, and a bunch of flashes, and I'm just thinking, like, who is it? I'm freaking out, and you see the craziness going on. Negan's just messing with Rick at this point, shooting at walkers at certain points, and it got ridiculous when Rick was hanging off of the guy, and then his head popped off, and then it looked like there's a bunch of walkers below them. I'm like, how is he going to survive this? Negan shoots and shoots. Finally, Negan takes him back to where they were, and then we get the flashback, and we see the scene in its entirety, full of Negan redoing the eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing. And I can't tell you how much I was freaking out while they were doing it. And then he picked Abraham. And it sucks because I liked Abraham. I did. I liked him as a character. He was a tough guy. He was a badass. He had a lot of good comedic lines. Like, he wasn't too goofy, but he was just a fun, likable guy. And then he gets his head bashed in. And him saying, "Suck my nuts," just, going out like the badass he was. Going out like, he never cowered, he never backed down. And Negan just kept whacking him and whacking him and whacking him until there basically wasn't anything left. It was hard, it was brutal. But as bad as I felt, as much as it sucked to see it, there was like maybe 10-15% of me who was glad that it wasn't somebody else. For example, I fully went into this episode expecting Daryl to die because I thought that would be shocking. That would be the biggest thing. It would really get people talking. And then what happens? Daryl gets up and punches Negan in the face, and then they grab Daryl down. And I said, "Holy fuck!" Not only was I right? I thought they were gonna kill Daryl right then and there, but they were gonna kill two people, and I was just freaking out the whole time. But they decide not to kill Daryl. He starts talking, and the way how he did it, the way how the camera was framed, the way how Negan just took Lucille, not even facing him, but just went and swung the bat, hit Glenn in the face. I broke down. I just wasn't expecting it. I mean, I know. Glenn dies in the comics the same exact way. I've seen the pictures. I've seen it. And this show did a great job recreating that moment. When you see Glenn's face and his eyes popping out and it looks like the comic and Negan is taunting him, saying like word for word everything, and Glenn tries to talk to Maggie and you can't understand him. I think he said, "I will find you." And then Negan just keeps going and killing Glenn. Glenn was one of my favorite characters on the show, not just because of him, not just because he's been in it since the first episode. He's been here from the beginning, but he was just one of the purest, good-hearted characters left. He was one of the few guys who I related to the most. I felt like like my friends and I, whenever we would talk about like, "Oh, which one of you are you from The Walking Dead?" I would always say I'm Glenn in every way. And this sucked. It sucked. It was worse than when I thought he died in the horde of walkers last season. And I also thought because of that tease, I didn't think that they would actually go through with this, and they did. It sucked. How graphic it was, how brutal it was worse than I thought it was going to be, and I was expecting some pretty bad shit. But it was bad, and it did not help because Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan, is, he's too good at this. Negan, like, if there was any chance that people might have liked Negan, or might have found him charming, or good-looking, or charismatic, Jeffrey Dean Morgan makes you hate Negan's fucking guts. I hate Negan. I hated seeing him taunt them, laugh, and just being so maniacal and pure evil. He got enjoyment off of doing some of this stuff. And again, brutal. It's the most depressing episode I've ever watched. And then you get a moment where he looks in Rick's eyes and he still sees it. He still sees the defiance. He still sees that strength that Rick always has. So he's like, "I have to break this guy for real." And he tells him, "You're going to cut your son's arm off." And honestly, by this point, why not? Of course, I'm thinking he's going to make him fucking do this. He really is. He's a character that I believe everything he says and what he's capable of. Rick, I mean, it takes a while, but Rick is about to do it, and that's where you see Rick break. Rick, I've never seen, or I haven't seen Rick this emotional since maybe season 1, maybe season 2, of just like downtrodden. He felt powerless. Negan won. Definitely won the power over. He stopped him from doing it because he knew he had him by that point. And he said he'll be back in 1 week. And even Maggie now feels bad for it because they were trying to get her medicine. That's why they were out there. This would have happened. This would have happened eventually. He would have found Alexandria, or this was bound to happen one way or another. This episode was tough. It was every bit of tough that I think most people were expecting. It was harder to watch than what I was expecting. I can't say like, oh, it was a great episode. I mean, yeah, sure, emotionally and everything that they were trying to accomplish, yes. Well done, Walking Dead. You succeeded in making me feel like shit. You succeeded in making me feel like I was right there with the group and going through those emotions. And I feel like I lost somebody that I know. That's just how I feel. This sucks. This really does suck. But so guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of tonight's episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Are you depressed like I am? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.